Ruben Morales, her gorgeous next-door neighbor. Dani's palms instantly itched, and her stomach felt as if she'd accidentally swallowed a flock of butterflies. "Deputy Morales," she said, then paused, hating the slightly breathless note in her voice. What was it about the man that always made her so freaking nervous? He was big, yes, at least 6 feet tall, with wide shoulders, tough muscles, and a firm don't-mess-with-me jawline. It wasn't just that. Even without his uniform, the man exuded authority and power, which instantly raised her hackles and left her uneasy, something she found both frustrating and annoying about herself. No matter how far she had come, how hard she had worked to make a life for her and her girls, she still sometimes felt like the troublesome foster kid from Queens, always on the defensive. She had done her best to avoid him in the months they had been in Haven Point, but that was next to impossible when they lived so close to each other. And when she was the intern in his father's veterinary practice, with the hope that she might be able to purchase it at the end of the year. "Hey, Doc," he said, flashing her an easy smile she didn't trust for a moment. It never quite reached his dark, long-lashed eyes, at least where she was concerned. While she might be uncomfortable around Ruben Morales, his dogs were another story. He held the leashes of both of them, a big, muscular Belgian shepherd, and an incongruously paired little cheapoo, and she reached down to pet both of them. They sniffed her and wagged happily, the big dog's tail nearly knocking over his small friend. That was the thing she loved most about dogs. They were uncomplicated and generous with their affection for the most part. They never looked at people with that subtle hint of suspicion, as if trying to uncover all their secrets. "I wasn't expecting you," she admitted. "Oh, I made an appointment. The boys both need checkups. Yukon needs his regular hip and eye check, and Ollie is due for his shots." She gave the dogs one more pat before she straightened and faced him, hoping his sharp cop eyes couldn't notice evidence of her accelerated pulse. "Your father is still here every Monday and Friday afternoons. Maybe you should reschedule with him," she suggested. It was a faint hope, but a girl had to try. "Why would I do that?" "Maybe because he's your father and knows your dogs?" "Dad is an excellent veterinarian," agreed, "but he's also semi-retired and wants to be fully retired this time next year. As long as you plan to stick around in Haven Point, we will have to switch vets and start seeing you eventually. I figured we might as well start now." He was checking her out. Not her, but her skills as a veterinarian. The implication was clear. She had been here 3 months, and it had become obvious during that time and their few interactions that Ruben Morales was extremely protective of his family. He had been polite enough when they had met previously, but always with a certain guardedness, as if he was afraid she planned to take the good name his hard-working father had built up over the years for the Haven Point Veterinary Clinic and drag it through the sludge at the bottom of Lake Haven. Dani pushed away her instinctive, prickly defensiveness, bred out of all those years in foster care when she felt as if she had no one else to count on, compounded by the difficult years after she had married Tommy and had Silver, when she really had no one else in her corner. She couldn't afford to offend Ruben. She didn't need his protective wariness to turn into full-on suspicion. With a little digging, Ruben could uncover things about her and her past that would ruin everything for her and her girls here. She forced a professional smile. "It doesn't matter. Let's go back to a room and take a look at these guys. Girls, I'll be done shortly. Silver, keep an eye on your sister." Her oldest nodded without looking up from her phone and with an inward sigh. Dani led the way to the largest of the exam rooms. She stood at the door as he entered the room with the 2 dogs, then joined him inside and closed the door behind her. The large room seemed to shrink unnaturally, and she paused inside for a moment, flustered and wishing she could escape. Dani gave herself a mental shake. She was a doctor of veterinary medicine, not a teenage girl. She could handle being in the same room with the one man in Haven Point who left her breathless and unsteady. All she had to do was focus on the reason he was here in the first place: his dogs. She knelt to their level. "Hey there, guys. Who wants to go first?" The Malinois, often confused for a German shepherd but smaller and with a shorter coat, wagged his tail again while his smaller counterpoint sniffed around her shoes, probably picking up the scents of all the other dogs she had seen that day. "Ollie, I guess you're the winner today." He yipped, his big ears that stuck straight out from his face quivering with excitement. He was the funniest-looking dog, quirky and unique.